a question.
I do.
Yeah, I wanted it when the teaching that you gave about stop playing God is playing God. I was thinking about that and wanting to get that message.
All right. So, hey, honey. Yeah, that comes out of recovery in this thing called the Big Book. I think it's on page 60 something. And it's in a chapter called How It Works, which is the main presentation of the principle and the spirit of recovery. And most people believe it's the idea of turning one's will over to the care of a higher power. Yes, turning one's will and life over to the care of a higher power. But in that paragraph before it, it says first, and then next is this idea of surrender. First, it's got to quit playing God. Yeah. And what's the reason why? It doesn't work. It's very simple. So if you're hearing it as this action figure, you're actually in the act of the identification as that which plays God, which is the mental state. If you don't believe it, here's a couple examples. When you wake up in the morning, it tells you how the day is going to be. Isn't that playing God? If it tells you how next year is going to be, obviously that's playing God, because it has no freaking contemporary evidence at all. It's just making up shit. Yeah, false evidence appearing real. So there's an activity that's playing God. It's pretty much in the auditory system. You're hearing it, not hearing it like an ear, but how you hear thoughts. Yes. So this activity is speaking to us as us. And in that role, it plays God. So when it says you got to quit playing God, most people feel like they, as that which is playing God, has to quit playing God, because they don't see that they're not what's playing God. Yeah, this is the whole presentation of non-duality in a way, is being ourselves reality. Yeah. And then like the Course in Miracles, the head makes up this something else to be yourself. And so basically it's not an identification, but the mental state is constantly in the act of being identified. So if we're watching avidly the mental state's presentation, we're constantly being implied to be a historical thing, a person who does a lot and shouldn't have, or didn't do a lot and should have, and on and on. So there's a playing God. It doesn't work. Now, if you, without knowing it, are identified or in the act of identifying with that which is playing God, if you set out, AKA Paul, that which is playing God, to quit playing God, that's playing God. Yes. So that which can only be playing God, when it hears the idea to quit playing God, that would be another playing God. Now you could follow it ad infinitum. It's not going to change. Yeah, it's just a hiccup that will keep being caused by a lot of without knowing it. Yes. So here you go. So when you hear the message of non-duality, let's say, and you're in recovery, it brings you an illumination to all these statements in the Big Book, where when it says you got to quit playing God, you see you're not that you, that's playing God. And basically that's quitting playing God, because if it's not you playing God, you're going to lose interest in the playing God. Yeah. And now you're going to be hearing something before you hear that which is playing God. Yeah. You're going to be sort of at least in the neighborhood of a sense that's before the activity of playing God. So you can now quit playing God, not by quitting playing God, but seeing it's not you that's playing God. Yes, it's the same thing with so many different views. I just saw as I was going through my YouTube feed, and there was a YouTube from Alan Watts, you know, old guy who used to give Zen talks. I didn't look at it, but the whole thing was living life without a purpose. Yeah. Wow, that would be great. So if you're hearing it as a person, you're going to think, oh, how can I, as a person that completely has a purpose all day, is going to live life without a purpose? Yes, it's insane. So you see, you're not the person. Yeah. The one that is going to live life with purpose or without purpose. You're not that. It's not, you're not having a life without purpose. You're just not the one who has any purpose or the one who doesn't have purpose. But if you hear it in a sense, in this act of being identified, it sounds like you are going to have to stop living a life that has purpose, which that's a purpose in itself. You can't get out of it, you see? Do you? I don't know, maybe I'm off. And someone just threw Alan Watts up there.
No.
Forgive me, Alan, I didn't listen to the whole talk, but I'm sure you're happy that I could, you know, trampoline off your coffin, your grave, and so say, hey, yes, yeah. I don't think I'll take a, you know, whatever. But do you see it? Do you see the mental logic that we're listening to that basically is almost like the frame for our vision? Yes. So it's just like another statement in recovery, which is an expression of an effect of being influenced by a higher power. And it says, you'll quit fighting everyone and anything. Now, when you hear this as a person, you're thinking, what the fuck? I'm going to have to quit fighting everyone and anything. And until I do that, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's always going to set a race up and a requirement, and like the first heat that you're going to fail before you even get into the finals. Yes, it's just too much. So this idea is taking the meaning, not out of purpose, but out of the person who has or hasn't a purpose. Yes. And then revisit purpose, and there'll be so much, the meaning that it has for you will be completely different if it's not you that's having the meeting. Yeah, it will. You'll see, you'll find small purposes, sort of like, oh, you know, this morning watering the flowers, yeah, and then going there, oh, picking up this, you know. It's not like I'm a chosen one who's going on a long path. No, I'm picking up flowers, you know, watering flowers. It's nothing, yes. But the action figure does well with that. This is what happens. You watch when people, a lot of men, supposedly, when they retire, because there's been an act of being identified as the job or what they did, when they stop doing it, they get super bummed out. Yeah, because that's, and then they feel like they're rudderless, they have no purpose, and they start getting drunk and everything like that. Yeah, the action figure needs a few bones. Yeah, you can't fucking starve it. It's not going to be a happy container for the non-duality understanding. It isn't. It's going to be, its sphincter is going to be sucked up in a big pucker, and you're going to be looking at everyone who says I, me, my, whatever. It's fucking, you'll be like the non-dual police going over websites, you know, comments. That's not that enjoyable, is it? No. So action, like this action figure, whatever. I don't even want to get, you know, if you don't have a purpose, just make one up for the day. It's just as good as, oh, the purpose downloaded. No, just make it up. You know, my purpose is to get out of this meeting as fast as possible so I can have a coffee. There you go. There's a purpose. So let's go. Quick question. Yeah. So I'm hoping you're getting this feeling, because it's a mental trick that I don't think is unusual or in this case. I believe the way you hear stuff is sort of how the meaning is given to it. And a lot of times when you hear beautiful examples of maybe possible spiritual effects, you feel like it's another order and then another like calling that you're going to fail at. Yes. And therefore, and then after a while, I mean, you hear these beautiful descriptions of what can't be described. And of course, there's a conceptual thing about that. And it turns into another burden for you that day, because now you're checking if you're awake or not, or if, especially checking if anyone's enlightened near you, because fuck, you know, how could he get enlightened? You know, it's insane. And then you go to meetings and now you have these two words that mean sort of relief in some ones. You know, enlightenment, one of the definitions is cessation of all suffering. Doesn't say cessation of all pain, but suffering. Yes. Yet you can see a lot of us, the way the head uses enlightenment produces suffering. Yeah, isn't that insane? We're in the business of trying to get enlightened, but the enlightenment that we're dealing with is seemingly provoking suffering, not causing the end of it. Yeah. So what needs to be questioned is the idea you have, and maybe the one who has the ideas. Those two would be a good way to go, eh? Check out the ideas and then check out the one who says he has the ideas. Yeah. And then you'll see, maybe you'll lose all interest in enlightenment, and you'll be enlightened or liberated from the need to be liberated. Yeah. You'll be okay. What? Yeah. Here. You'll be okay. It's just like the urban renewal project has been canceled. What you see is what you get, you know, and what you see will never get it. And what you see is what you get, but what you can see can never get it. That's the message. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it beautiful in a way? Yeah. I mean, if you were seeking very earnestly for relief and you had it, you wouldn't be seeking earnestly for relief. Yes. When you're satisfied and content, a lot of your like seeming, you know, spiritual longings would be quite short, really. Yeah, it would be. And your your pursuit of happiness would turn into a leisurely walk. Yeah. Yeah. Because you'd have what the head wants to make as a goal to sort of reap the rewards of you seeking all day, because what it reaps the reward of is a seeker. Yeah. It does. All that seeking implies a sense of being a seeker, and it may have more of a bonding mechanism than if you're doing the dishes. Yeah, because I never thought doing the dishes was as important as meditating. I never did. Therefore, the meditation had a stronger bonding to the idea of being the meditator than when I do dishes. I don't get bonded to the idea of being the dishwasher. I don't. You know what I mean? But I sure used to see the head getting bonded to the idea of being the meditator quite quickly. Yeah, yeah. So this is why I see for a lot of people, it does make sense to live a simpler life, because if you're not doing spectacular things that can be, you know, blogged about every day, there's less bonding going on because there isn't any interest. It's that doing that activity isn't producing much interest, but to the head is looking for a more noble, you know, calling, like I deep sea dive and then sail solo, you know, to Europe. You know what I mean? So it's just, yeah. And I noticed that in the head when I was younger, that the head had a lot of meaning it gave to spirituality and spiritual practices. And boy, did it bind the whole thing. It created a constipation in the system that was really, I mean, it was like not taking a shit for 5 years. Fucking, that's a lot of pressure in the valves, really. And I couldn't I just couldn't give myself a break unless I got loaded again. And that's the only way I could get permission to leave the spiritual group I was with. Even though something was telling me to go, but something said, if you go, and man, it was really like a constipation, definitely. Yeah. So that which I thought was going to bring me freedom was another form of bondage. That's usually the joke most of us run into. Yeah. 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 So that's what, to quit playing God, that's how I read it. Yeah. There is something playing God, but it's not us. So quit playing God doesn't mean it stops playing God, because it's not us. It's just that us, whatever that is, I hope you find out, or you obviously know already, that us is going to lose interest in that which is playing God, and basically withdraws the God juice that the thing's playing God with. Yeah. In other words, what is gambling isn't gambling with its own money. It's our money. When we withdraw the money, the guy's not going to bluff and not going to, bluff a pair of twos to beat a full house. It's going to start telling the truth about the cards it has, because it doesn't have an infinite amount of backing. Yes. So the playing God gets to see, you start being able to see through it quite easily, because the production, you remember I used to like a show called The Avengers, this early one with Emma Peel and stuff when I was a kid, and I thought it was great. And then when I saw it when I was older, the production sucked. You could see they weren't in a real Victorian room. It was like in a garage or something. And they weren't driving the car. The car wasn't moving. It was just yeah. So as I grew older, I could see what was going on, and it took away the meaning of the Avengers. Yeah, it sucked, really. You know what I mean? In a way. So in a way, this happens when our God juice gets withdrawn, and basically what happens is you start getting enriched by that same energy that seemingly enslaved you. And it has a different purpose now. When we're talking about purposeless life, energy is neutral. But here in this dreaming, whatever mechanism it manifests through is what's going to show its effects. There is no effect in faith, but faith causes a lot of effects. Yeah. Yeah. So like mind is neutral, but mind coming into this dualistic expression can do some nasty shit, or it can be open to some wide open, beautiful, whatever. Yes. So what's important about the energy isn't the energy that's given, it's what vehicle it's put in, and the mental state is directing a lot of energy into this story of self. Yeah. And all the claiming it does, that's a lot of work in a way. Yeah. So when they're seeing, it rushes in and claims the seeing to imply a seer. Yeah. It doesn't imply 1,000 different seers. It's only one. But there's thousands of seeing, events of seeing, but only one seer is attributed to all of them. That's bondage of self. Yes. Yeah. So when you lose interest in that which is playing God, it keeps playing God, but now it's like a comedy show instead of, it's like the Wizard of Oz, the second movie, after they all know it's a little jamoke in the back of the curtain. You know what I mean? They have a second thing where all the explosions don't evoke anything. Everyone's laughing because they know better now. So yeah. So the same show, but the effect is completely different. Yeah. It's funny in a lot of ways. It really is. All right. Thank you. I'm just happy this thing's working. Usually you got to move, climb up a tree, get the enhancer, have Chris hold the enhancer, get the Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's great. All right. Anyone else, Mike?
Oh, okay. No hands right now. I wanted to thank Mia for showing us that she's not a costume.
She's not in costume.
And I
Well,
recognize Nick's laugh. That's who that was.
Everyone's wearing a costume over the costume. Yeah. But Chris is pretty good. I like it. Yeah. He looks like a Swami that got caught in the fall. The only season. Just what?
I predict. Paul, we'll say something next.
Paul won't say shit. Thank God. Hopefully no one comes to see Paul. That's for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, someone just throw a softball so we can start it up again.
I had another thing.
What is?
I had another thing.
All right. Thanks.
So last night I couldn't sleep, and I read your book, number 56, and it really hit home about your description of the seekers, the sought, because I used to go to a lot of retreats, and it kept failing. It says here that this message is a simple one. The only thing you can really truly study is what you're not. You can't study what you are because you are it. So that would mean that whatever is studying cannot be studied. Whatever is knowing cannot be known. Whatever is seeing cannot be seen. Whatever is feeling cannot be felt. Whatever is tasting cannot be tasted. There is no other knowledge. And what happened was there was a lot of thinking, and I was trying to focus on the breath instead, but there was a lot of thinking. And when I read that, I just, there was a piece that came about, and I noticed that that there was no thinker, there was just thinking, and it was thinking about what was no longer happening, you know, events that happened during the day. And so I have ideas to work with that are helpful, but it's still the concentration to focus on the breath instead of what's coming out of the head. It just had to play out, it seemed like, unless you have but the idea that I don't have to seek anything, that I am what I'm looking for, that message is just incredible.
Well, let me share something.
Thanks.
It may sound crazy, but there is peace even with crazy thoughts. Yeah. So the underlying condition is always relevant and present, but the attention and interest is usually drawn into the surface conditions. Yeah. And knowing it or not knowing, a lot of us who have practiced meditation run into, well, there's one requirement that's necessary for me to be at peace, which is not to have so many thoughts, or to pay more attention to the breath, or if I'm sitting here, there's water fountain and paying attention to that. See, but that's another requirement that the head is putting out. So it tells you very vaguely or currently that yes, peace is there, but first this. So the thoughts are now a valid obstacle for you to arrive at peace. Yeah, I have entertained peace. At the same time, thoughts were scurrying around on the surface. Yes. But the beautiful thing about the recognition that you're not the thinker, it almost puts a little sheet of ice between the surface water and then everything else. Yeah. So in a weird way, you can see the surface water through the ice, because you're not thinking you're the thinker. You're not believing that anymore, and all the while in time, the head is going crazy. There's rest. Yes. There's rest. Yeah. So there goes that requirement. Yeah. Because most people definitely aren't, they're not going to be meditators. They just don't, it's too much activity. And the idea of them meditating and being the meditator is on the same surface as the thoughts. Yeah. What we're talking about is something underneath. Yeah. A peace that passeth all understanding. Yeah. Or maybe comes before all understanding. Yeah. There's a space, while there's a lot of other spaces going on, there's that eternal space. And just like I feel, the sky doesn't gain itself through a clearness with no clouds, or doesn't lose itself when it's very cloudy. Yeah, that's just from our view. Basically, the sky is the space for all this shit to appear or nothing to appear in it. Yeah, sometimes nothing's appearing in it. It's unbelievable. Sometimes there's a lot of shit appearing in it. And usually there's a lot of beauty and artistic value there because the clouds are sort of cool. Yeah, so it's beautiful both ways. So, yes. So just let that thing land that you're not the thinker. And then there'll be loss of interest in thoughts. And some of the interest that you gave to thoughts, which is they can destroy or ruin my peace, maybe will not be true anymore. I don't believe they've ever been, but they won't be true for you in a sense. And you can cohabitate this lovely space as that space with crazy thoughts. You can. I mean, it's almost like seeing in no time, it's just that. In time, it could be chaotic. Yeah. Most people, there's, like Jesus says, we're in this world, but not of it. We have the of and the in mixed up. So the of is not touched by the in. Yeah. And the in is so sorely needed some of. Yeah. And we're sort of like that hybrid appearance. We're appearing, and yet there's the consciousness that's not in an appearance, yes, or an awareness that's available. And so this in, like we're facing in, but we're of. And so when you see all that binds you to the in, which is the doer, thinker, the feeler, the taster, the this and that, all the ers, yeah. When the of becomes more influential, it dissolves those ers, and then it's the ings. So the same shit's happening, but the effects are completely different. So now everything is verbing. There's seeing, the seeing of the seer being made up, the seeing of the toucher being made up, the seeing of the Paul being remembered. Yes. And it's not so much what's being seen, it's the seeing itself. The awareness itself is pretty secure. Yeah. And I believe most of us at these satsangs have been placed in the vicinity of this space. So you may believe you can be lost, but it ain't going to be for long. Yeah. It won't. You'll just constantly feel like you're back at the station after somehow the train ride got immediately stopped. And after a while, you realize you've never left the station. There's just appearances of trains and you go, but you never go, because when you get off the train, you're always at the station. Yes. So basically, were you ever on the train? No, really. Not really. You thought you were. And then it runs out and then you're back. And after a while, it's got to happen. One of those, it's going to, yeah, it's got to have like a 100 monkey syndrome or thing where, you realize, this is the 45th time I go off the train in no time at all. Nothing happened. And well, then you realize you've never been on the train. Yes. So then the getting off becomes unnecessary because you're not on. And that's the beauty I feel of this message and what its meaning, which is this is not another way of getting out. It's a recognition that you're not in. Yes. And so instead of trying to get out of what you're not in and get into what you're not out of, you recognize that. Yes. And there's a peace in that. Yeah. So you can't escape from an imaginary place, and especially as an imaginary thing. Yeah. So that, and for me, that really was the last answer to that that asked questions. Yeah. Because it explained everything. Over a while, I heard it, and then the explanation started to come, which it implied. And so why I've always failed is because I was trying to get into something I've never been out of, and vice versa. I was constantly trying to get out of something I wasn't in. How was I ever going to succeed? Actually, it was completely successful because it failed me. And it failed me to such an extreme with drug addiction, I could apply it to a lot of other things. Once I came to my fucking senses or whenever it happened, but it was valuable, all those failures, because I believed I took one of those things, I went as far as you could go, and it still failed. So now I don't have to go as far as I can go in all these other, because I don't see any difference in this drive. I don't. It's the same. The seeking in drugs is the same seeking in spirituality. The topics are different. Maybe there's better food in one and looser clothing, but basically it's the same drive. Yes. Yeah. The head's addicted. You got to get this. The head's addicted to this idea of Paul. It's not addicted to the idea of Susanna. It's Paul. That idea of Paul, it cherishes it. Like it says in Buddhism, the cherishing of self. The cherishing of self is when you call self Paul. That's the cherishing of it. So you have a you, and now it's you. And then it's you, it becomes me, which is, it's been fucking gilded by then. Then you need something to melt it down because you're not going to extract the gold from that. You know what I mean? So the reverse engineering is, hey, wait a minute, it's not me. Yeah, no, and then you fall back into a you, and then you realize you drive like every other fucking person. So you must be a Ford. Yeah. And that makes it less and less special. And then you see you as a you. Yeah. And you see that what the head is presenting is a you, but there is an activity, it has to come from where we are, that makes that a you and takes it to be a you, and then brings it to an incredible height, me, where it's coronated with incredible uniqueness and specialness, which turns terminal. And, and we act as if everyone was at the coronation and knows it's me and should respect me because I see them as a you. So bow down, you, to me. I mean, really, and I've had a nice run on addiction, so I feel like I can share about it. And the drug that had me brought out the worst, and I thought the best in me, was cocaine. And I did cocaine quite a lot. Shot it up in my neck, did tons of shit, but I never for 1 second thought I was cocaine. All the coke I ever did, all the love I had of it, all the debasement, all the parasitical thing, the taking advantage, everything. Not one moment after 10 days, I never thought I was coke, ever. Never crossed that line. I believe we start at that line. Not I, but in the head, because the head takes itself to be the drug, and the drug is self. The drug is being the doer, the thinker, the feeler, the taster, and the toucher. And in this case, the bindle is the body. So you're always looking, you're getting you touch the bindle and you look at the bindle and you get to feel the coke, that I'm the doer, the thinker, the feeler, the taster, historical, special, unique. Yeah, yes. So the bindle, this plays the role of the bindle, and the coke, yeah, is this idea of being the doer, the thinker, the idea, not the body. The body represents something. But the first thing is the idea that you're the doer, the thinker, the feeler. That's why the body's necessary, because the body is something that can be remembered. So when I remember being the doer, it's pictured as a body. Yeah, because I can't remember the doing, but I can remember the doer. And so the body becomes a fixation because it's necessary for the head. But the head ends up hating it most of the time, or it starts out hating it because it feels like this is a drag. I got to act like a mess. I want to fucking really, cause whatever. So it's gotta, yeah. This is what you see. You just see it. And now you don't get, and to me, when I saw it with the message of non-duality, I was not called to arms. It was disarming, finally. If I used to see it, would call the arms. I've got it. No, it just was like, wow. And then the house of cards just fell and got reshuffled and it appeared as a house of cards again. But I knew it was a house of cards. Yes. It's like the idea of first there is the mountain. We want to say first there is no mountain, which is non-duality. And then first there is a mountain, and then there is no mountain, and there's a mountain again. See, when you feel there's a mountain and you work hard to make that mountain disappear, you're super bummed when it shows back up. Yeah. But if you had the first statement, there is no mountain, the second appearance of the mountain wouldn't fucking bother you. It wouldn't, because you'd realize there is no mountain. Yeah. Yeah. But when you think there was a mountain, and then I did something to make it, there isn't a mountain, only to see that it made itself a mountain again, really fucking frustrates the head. But if you have the first solution, which is before any problems, which is there is no mountain, then when that disappearance and appearance occurs, it doesn't hit you like a ton of bricks. You start laughing because you realize the whole game, the charade. Yes. But when you feel like you've acquired a condition, you're going to probably feel like you've lost the condition sooner or later. Yeah. This is why I love this message, because you can't have it, but you can't lose it. It's pretty good. Yeah. You don't need to understand it. Fucking, that's great, because I think I do. Yeah, and that's not seemingly working. I think I have a very clear understanding, and I'm still getting super pissed or whatever, and it doesn't make sense. Why should I get super pissed that I have this understanding? Get used to it. Yeah, because the action figure has its own little thing, and if you're waiting for the action figure to show the effects of not being an action figure, all the while not being an action figure, they may not show great effects. You'll just lose interest in it. Yeah. Yeah. I think this bums a lot of people out. You know what I mean? I had that spiritual, everything was revealed to me. I'm just waiting for it. I'm waiting for my big toe to get it. Well, you're probably waiting a while, because the big toe's just looking for a warm pair of socks. It doesn't give a shit about this. As most people don't. I swear to God, most people would think it was a bummer conversation if I sat down on the bench with them and started talking about this. They'd be fucking, where's the bus? Get out of here.
I gotta be somewhere.
It's not like whatever, you know. A prophet's never recognized in his own village. I'm talking to you, Novato. So yes, anyone have a question, anything? Chair.
Yep, we got 3 softballs lined up, and
Three
Richard Hume's
softballs.
first.
Who?
Richard.
Richard. Oh, there's Shane. Shane from Italy. Nice to see you, Shane.
There we go. Paul, I just wanted to, hi, everybody. I just wanted to thank you for bringing up Alan Watts. It took me on a nostalgic journey back to my youth in Tracy, California, back when it was just a farming community with about 10,000 people. As a teenager, we get off work we worked at Heinz in the summertime, and my friend worked all night at a gas station, and we'd listen to Alan Watts at 2 o'clock in the morning on some crazy station.
KPFA.
Yep, probably was. That's right. And that was really my first connection to this message. And it's just interesting how it finds you, because those ideas had not even come close to my little brain. And
Yes.
it's been part of my life ever since. It's just interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, KPF, every time they do their fund drive, because they're publicly, they don't take corporate money and stuff, so they have to beg their listeners for money. They always offer you a big Alan Watts thing, a whole big thing of nothing. That's why they should get the Paul Hedderman. You'd open it, there'd be nothing in the box.
I think all I got was a coffee cup.
This. Yeah, I don't know much about Alan Watts, tell you the truth, but I mean, I love, I was just watching YouTube, and it was interesting, a purposeless life.
Well, I think he had his little houseboat right down the road from you.
Yeah, he had a houseboat in Sausalito, yeah. Yeah. I think I saw Adyashanti and Muji followers sunk it. Yeah. They blew it up in the harbor.
It's dark. Anyway,
There
thanks, Paul.
But it was a terrorist attack, non-duality terrorist attack. Who's destroying my Wi-Fi?
Emma Peel too. She was that was nice.
Emma Peel, yes. I mean, it was a good show. It was just when I saw it as an adult, I mean, you could see through the where the 2 walls met, there'd be a big opening. And there was a studio. It was just, at the time I was taking it in hook, line, and sinker, which is lovely, but that same quality can be taken over by the mental state, and then it's not as lovely. When you're taking a lot of false evidence to be true. Yeah. So thank you, Rich. It's always a pleasure to see you here and stuff.
Thanks, Rich. And Gary is next.
Gary.
Hi, Paul. I'm Mike.
Hey.
Hey, Gary.
Yeah, I just wanted to say as a side one time, that's kind of cool. I was watching an old episode of Star Trek, and the HD quality is so good, I could tell that they had substituted a stunt double. So when Captain Kirk comes rolling up, it's not him. That was kind of you get to see through it.
Yeah.
But so
Right.
Anyway, I was just I was noticing this morning as I was sitting that there's watching the mind like try to figure everything out and figuring it out, and after a while it's like, wow, this isn't going to work, and there was like a seeing. It was sort of like being in the audience of a theater or a movie or something, and I'm realizing what goes on all day is just the movie, and it's like I was trying to find my way out of the movie, but it's like, I
That's
don't
the
know how to
movie.
say this. It goes on all day long. That's all there is in this world, you know? It's like,
That's right.
oh,
You trying to get out of the movie is the movie, is the
yeah.
movie, is the movie. Yeah.
And so there was like nothing to do about it at that point, because it was just, oh, it's just going to be the movie all day long, whether it's, you know, whether it's a Star Trek movie or it's taking out the garbage movie or one thing or the other. It's like nothing to get hung about it, because it's, I don't know, I'm just repeating your words again. It's not me. I'm watching this movie and it's either this movie or that movie, but there's nothing to do about it.
Yeah. Now, if you backed up and just stopped and got out of the car at, it's a movie. Yeah. Yeah. It's a movie. That's it. You can't. Yeah. It's a
That's
movie.
all it is.
Yeah. It's sort of, it's not like the head always likes to exclude itself and think it's the observer or whatever, the witness or something, but we're all drenched. We're all, you know, in the movie. And the movie is going to continue until you don't. And then it will be like it never happened. Yes? Yeah. And the only people, you're not going to experience your own death. Other people will, because they'll seemingly still be in a movie. But your movie role will be over. And I think this movie is sort of, there's no memory of it. Yes, it's like it never happened. Why? Because it never happened. It's appearing, isn't it? Just like we're appearing here in space. We can move all the furniture on this deck and space wouldn't be lighter. Yeah. The heaviest thing isn't weighing space down. It's just taking up space, really. So we're seeing it. And when you take a huge wall down, it isn't caught like the emperor with no clothes, void, and then you got to rush some space in there. No, the space either super fills it up quickly, or it was always, that giant wall was just an appearance in space. So you knock the wall down and now it's not appearing in space. And in a weird way, it looks like it never did appear in space, did it? And usually the people in the town forget that there was ever a wall there, and the people that are new in town have never seen a wall there. So basically, to them, there's never been a wall. And in fact, there's never been a wall. There was an appearance of a wall. And as long as there was another appearance to see the other appearance, yeah. But when one of them or the other one goes, there you go. So,
So
yeah,
I wanted to thank you, because there's something in your message that makes it possible that to see that wasn't possible to see before. That parasitical quality, the quality that it can mimic what's going on and then call it its own. I had never seen that before listening to you, and you made it possible for that to be seen. So I'm just really grateful for that aspect of the message. It sort of like opened up doors that weren't even seen before.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Great.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of things, there's a joy in sharing stuff, especially nothing, because there's no demands. I hate responsibility. So, but this message, I have no responsibility for the other people's conditions, because there aren't any other people really. So you just put out the information, see what happens. And I'm happy that it's allowed you to see stuff that has brought your attention onto the space of things instead of the things in the space. Yeah. Yeah. I'm all for that. I'd like to see people travel lighter. I don't want to get to know the lot of people, and they probably don't want to get to know me, but I'd like to travel lighter. And what better message is that you are already that. And I didn't come up with the seeker and the sought. I just heard it. And then it made a lot of sense when it gets compressed into seeker is the sought. Yeah. It's totally different, seeker and the sought. You just change the one word, seeker is the sought. It's completely different. And that's sometimes what's needed. It's not a huge giant overhaul. It's just a little tweak, move the glasses a little bit this or push this. Like, hey, I can't say, oh, I see now, you know, a little, oh, now I can't see what's what, oh. You know what I mean? It's simple. You just what? And then it's got the habit of going back. I can't see now. I lost it. What? Oh, yeah. After a while, it's gonna stick. Yeah. Just like repetition got us in one seeming condition, repetition can get us out of one seeming condition. Right? So now the camera doesn't move when all the shit moves. The camera, wait a minute. Camera used to go like this. Now it goes, he sees it, but it doesn't lose its sense. Yeah. It doesn't go like this. It doesn't go with everything. It sees everything going. Yeah. So it's like an anchor, just an anchor. And you always get moored. You're always moored there and you always come back to it throughout the day. You know, this happens, that happens. You always go. So when you go back, it's like you never left. And it just gives you a strong sense of okayness. And, you know, just silences the shouts to be okay. I've gotta, whatever. You're just okay. Yeah, it's nice. You can just be here today. And, you know, I've had contact with people, flowers, trees. We have beautiful redwoods here, dog, cats. Yeah, incredible. So, hey, thanks. It's nice to see you, Carrie.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah.
Thanks, Gary. And you've got a full batting lineup now. You got Esther, Shane, and Stuart.
I'm so happy to hear that. Esther.
You have to have an adjustment reaction.
I gotta try to stay out of this thing. All right, yeah.
So, I meditate first thing after I take my shower, and there are thoughts, and I'm going to incorporate, now that the peace never left, that is understood in experience as well as in thought. And there's just something nice about meditating, but there's like the engagement with the thoughts still, it happens. And I just wanted to have you I know the message doesn't change for this activity or any activity. The purpose of meditation was to find myself, but that's not there for that. So, and your discussion about death is extremely helpful. It's something that occupies my mind a lot. I have a 87-year-old mother and a friend, Alan, that I don't know how I could live without, because he reinforces the message for me when I can't always watch a video. And so thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And maybe just when you sit down to meditate, just ask, who is it that's meditating? Just throw it in there. See what comes up. Yeah, yeah. And even though you may not think you're getting something out of it, the body is and stuff, helps with blood pressure and can do nerves. And if you can maybe breathe a little deeper than you usually do, just to see that there's more capacity in there, the lungs and stuff like that. Yeah. So, yeah, but Good luck, Esther, and I hope I see you again. Come back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, Esther. And now we got
Yeah.
Shane from the trip from London.
Hey,
Hey,
how's it going? Yeah,
Good.
thanks, Paul. Yeah, I like yeah, this message has been incredible for me. I had experience with just with like a thought that produced an irritability and restless and discontent, right? And I had this experience, or like this thought come that, oh, that's actually what's the thought. It's the second thought that comes after that I was never aware of, and that is that to go pick up and drink and use. But I was never really aware that the first thought that was producing the irritability and restlessness and discontent, how can I put this? Yeah, I wasn't aware that actually it was the second thought coming in. It was quiet, I couldn't hear it, but that was the thought that was driving me to want to go into drink and use. But with seeing that now, it's kind of been able to create a safe space where I can feel that, you know, see that thought and see it, like you say, it's like a radio station, you know, that's playing a song that like, yeah, that I don't have to pay attention to anymore, you know? And it was just, yeah, it's just a real like nice realization, you know, to have that whack. So yeah, I just want to say thank you because yeah, it's
Well,
been
yeah.
great.
Another realization of being restored to sanity concerning the insanity that precedes the first drink,
Yeah.
which is the idea of you.
Mm.
That's the insane idea.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So you get restored to sanity concerning that, because that idea can't get sane about it. Self can't get out of self. If self was going to a therapy, you wouldn't want to go see the Mr. Self, the therapist. It's not going to get out of self. So yeah, that's great, Shane. I'm happy. It was a pleasure to meet you. And
Yeah, you too.
yeah, it would be nice to see your journey as life progresses, because you're a young dude sober, man. I mean, you know what it's going to be like. You've seen a lot of older drug addicts and drunks. Yours will look quite similar to them, but to stay sober, you'll have a new life. Yeah, could be quite interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. In other words,
Awesome.
see, if I was your age and I kept drinking, which I did, but let's say that I could see my life in other people, other alcoholics and addicts. It would look quite similar, even though I didn't think so. Yeah. And it would be the same old, and yet you have the possibility now that you've been restored to sanity concerning that insanity that precedes the first drink, that your whole life can be based on sobriety. Yes. And instead of being enslaved to that one influence, you'll be open to be influenced by a lot of different things. And I love watching it when people young get it, because I used to go to this rehab in New Jersey twice a year and do like a weekend of talks there for like 16 years, a long time, I think. And I remember a few people I saw when I would be there, and I could see that they had something. I thought they were going to stay sober, right? And then I come back 6 months later, and they had 6 months of sober more living, and they were, I'm going to go to yoga school, and I'm going to go to cooking thing. And then another 6 months, I come back, and they're just, and then now they're in their lives sober. Yeah, they don't have this fucking giant monkey on their back. One guy's a yoga teacher, the other person's actually managing another rehab. And it's just great, just watching. And they went to Thailand, all their little dreams they thought they never could do, they've done, just because they got, you know. Yeah, so this message is so sublime of non-duality. I thought recovery, but even recovery could be illuminated by this non-duality. It's just incredible. So yeah, I'm very happy. And yeah, hope you stay sober.
Thanks, Paul.
For
I really
some of
appreciate
us,
it.
it's extremely important as an action figure. Yeah, it's, yeah. I'll bring that up more on Tuesday and Thursday, the recovery meetings. All right, anyone else? We got.
Thanks,
Esther, we
Shane.
got-
And yep, Stuart's got the last pitch.
All right, Stuart. You got to put on, can't hear you.
Oh, yeah, you're muted.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. It's about the meaning of like in Australia, we're having all these Halloween pumpkin heads for sale in supermarkets and whatever. And I got no meaning for Halloween. I know you guys have a meaning for Halloween over there, don't you? I don't know what the fuck. Huh?
I think everyone has different meanings. I don't know.
I don't even know what it means though. It's like really bizarre to me, but I don't
Well, it
want to
matters
know
what
what it
age
means.
you are. If you're young, it means a lot of candy, which
Right.
is very, very good. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
If it's middle age, you can go crazy, throw eggs at people and fucking do other
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
Roam the streets like a gang, and you have masks on, so
Yeah.
it's difficult.
Yeah.
And then when you're older, you keep all your lights off of the house and you don't answer the door when they knock on it. And you watch Halloween 1 for the 20th time.
Yeah. Okay. That's Well, I take the last meaning. That sounds good to me. Because I feel like the shops over here, they're trying to give it a meaning. That's I don't know.
I
They're
know,
trying to
because
give
they
it a
want you
meaning.
to buy stuff. Of
Yeah.
course. What do you think Christmas for? Christmas,
And
what?
the-
December
the-
25th? I think he
yeah,
was born in
it's-
April. February, Jesus was April, February. Yeah,
Yeah,
so they
it's
just because the God of this world is profit, capitalism. So-
Yeah.
Any see how the head looks at everything as claiming to be the doer of it. The system looks at how they can extract stuff or produce more consuming of stuff. Yes, so they want you to become a consumer and shit like that. It's not a person that's wishing it, it's a system. And systems, have lives of their own. So if you put someone in who's a great reformer and a super nice person, if you put him in a system, he turns out to be a schmuck, something again, because just like the president of the United States, doesn't matter. It could be Jesus if he came back. If you put him in that thing, that the system will make the person something. The person ain't going to make the system something. So these systems here roll. And so, they just looking to make them, So they want to jack you up. So you buy costumes and they'll have costume stores open and then candy. And then the dentists are really into it. Yeah, dentistry. They want to have recidivism based in their dental plan. So cavity. Bring on those cavities.
Yeah.
And of course, Nestle, Knickerbocker, they all want to,
You
can buy the sickest one. And then some weird dudes want to fucking,
it's insane.
Apples.
Yeah. Just a couple of other things, Paul, quickly. It's like when I was a kid, I'd be watching a lot of TV, and like they had these shows from America, like Leave It to Beaver or the Brady Bunch or whatever, and it's like, and
they're all drug.
They're all what?
All those kids turned into drug addicts.
Yes. Well, but it's sort of set up a bit of dichotomy in my own mind. It's like, because that wasn't my experience where I'm living compared to what that was, in a sense.
Well, that wasn't money. Most people here didn't have that experience either.
Exactly. Yeah. And
of course, it's
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 bizarre.
like watching Hallmark Hall of Fame cards or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
They make lovely Thanksgiving things where there's no fighting and oh,
Yeah.
it's the cranberry sauce is great and everyone's loving it. Then you go
Yeah.
into a regular person's house, it's fucking it's like one of the what's those crazy guys on TV that always have the fights, Maury, whatever, the family. Like, yes, I fucked you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's all a
Yeah.
dream, bro.
And
There's dreams in the dreaming. The dreams in the dreaming are things in the dreaming. So they're worthy to be called dreams. Yeah. These are dreams in the dreaming. Yeah. And
okay. Yeah.
they're very rarely actualized as a dreaming. You're not living the dream. There's informing you of a dream that you'd like to live. It's a way, yes. It's
Yeah. And just one more thing, then I'll let you go. It's like I've noticed, like certainly the other day there, I was talking to my son, one of my sons, and it was like, or other people as well. Oh, how are you going? You know, and what have you been up to? And it's sort of like from that point on, it gets really less of a conversation because like, oh, I'm great. Yeah, pretty good. What have you been up to? Oh, not much, same old, you know. And then it's like, you know, it's like not a very exciting life in the sense of, you know, I'm doing all this super stuff, you know, it's just not there. It's not there. It's nothing.
Yes. You should get a costume, buy some fucking candy.
Exactly. Yeah.
And go to a Halloween day.
Go to
a pumpkin. You'll feel happier than you ever had before.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not worried about it.
Yes, it's the death of specialness. Yeah.
Yeah, it just is what it is.
We all love to be, you know, surfing at 10, skiing at 11, fornicating at 12, fornicating maybe at 1, 2, eating sumptuous food, and have everyone watching some of it. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Instead of, hey, I'm picking up dog shit before the talk. What? Yeah. Where's one of my great devotees to pick? No, they're not nowhere to be found. Richard's sleeping in the bath. I'm cleaning up the shit.
Sounds good.
I know, bro. I'm happy. Today's a good day. Let's just have a laughing day, eh? Yes,
yeah.
It's beautiful here in California. I mean, it's exquisite. And yes, I'm really happy to be surrounded by the people I'm surrounded by. And I'm very happy that I have this possibility to hang out with you guys. And I'm almost sad that it's ending, which is now. No.
But then there's coffee.
Now we're at our house, so we're gonna have to make the coffee, which I will graciously.
Thank you, Paul.
Yes, thank you, guys. Anyone else, Mike? No. We'll just
thanks, Stuart. And Mia's gone all the way from LA to San Diego. I mean, San Diego to LA, so it must be time to end.
Wow.
Can we see everyone there? I wanted to see the costumes. Would that be?
Where?
No costumes.
Oh, you mean at his house?
Amelia's not even here. Amelia had to do something with her son. So yeah.
I thought everyone was getting dressed, so I kind of did a road trip as a
you
ghost.
Haven't been in this lap long enough.
No, it's good. It's good. That was beautiful. Thank you, everyone. See you.
All right, Mike. See you. Let's see if it's nice here. Kathleen is not so confused and happy still. Very nice. We got Bill. See, nice to see you, Bill Stewart from down under. Always a pleasure. Johannes, Germany. John, a man of the world. We got Mia driving. Let's see, we've got Jim. We got Esther. We've got Holly. We got Kelly. This is better over here. We've got Tariq from Dover. We got Boaz. Nice to see you, Boaz. Thanks for dropping in. Gary from the corner, Vlad, as always. Thanks, Vlad, for everything, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a pleasure to know you, Vlad. Very happy. Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Yes.
Good.
We got Esteban. Nice to see you, Esteban. Thank you. And thank everyone for their donations. Yes. Yeah, much appreciated. Michael Sherman. We got Shane in London. Yeah, Shane. Stefan on having never left. Chris. Roman. Always a pleasure to see Roman and Barbara. Yeah, you got to be near the radiator soon, Roman, eh? Yeah. Getting a little cold in Germany. Woohoo. Let's see, we got Lucas, we got Jack G. Always a Jack G is I'm happy to see him back around. We got Mark K. Nice to see you, Mark. Oh, there's my friend Donna. Always a
Hey,
pleasure.
Paul.
You're down in Florida now, honey?
Yeah, I love it. It's really nice.
You
I'm
love
at the ocean every weekend, so it's great.
Oh, fantastic.
Just wanted to come and say hi. I miss
Oh.
seeing you in Canada.
Yeah. Well, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'll try and make it out east if you're out this way again.
We'll be pretty sure if I'm alive, I'll be going back east soon, probably in the spring. Yeah.
Sounds
With
good.
the caveats, either vertical or horizontal. I'll be buried one way or the other. Nina, nice to see you, honey. Lucas, Angie, nice to see Angie. I don't see her, but I know I noticed her before. Hey, thanks everyone. Everyone here says, is everyone there? Yeah.
Happy Halloween.
Yes. He brought a couple of pies. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for the service. See you soon.
Thanks, Mike.
And,
Thank you,
Yeah.
bye.
Thanks, Mike.
adios.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.